Hey everyone. So Ricky's computer died and we lost the audio for the first half hour of the show. For his audio at least.
Yeah, yeah.
You keep calling yourself a
But
stupid
I mean,
idiot,
luckily,
but like it's not your fault. In
yeah, I'm a big stupid
for the
idiot.
first time ever,
No, because
if you're not a stupid idiot.
because I recognized it. No, because I recognized it earlier today. I was like, oh man, my computer's like sometimes freezing, and like it did it like once earlier, and then did it once like a week or something ago, and I was like, man, this kind of sucks. I hope this isn't a problem in the future.
Probably
And
nothing though.
it
Yeah.
just did it now, and it gave me the blue screen of death. Yeah, probably nothing. Let me just turn the music up so I don't hear the sound of the car falling apart on the freeway. But
This is We Want to Watch. My name is Lane, that's Ricky. I'll probably try to chop and screw the audio from that we recorded so that at least you can hear my very important thoughts about Mario Kart for 15 minutes or whatever.
you know, I I had a few faux pas as I do, but I had a few good riffs in the beginning there.
You did.
And I still want to say I like theater camp. I had fun with it. Yeah, all right, it's not a good movie. Fine, whatever. It's fun.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll go back through and listen to my track and then I'll impersonate you in response to the track. Like I'll listen to it and then like
Wait,
respond.
that actually be pretty good.
That would be
Yeah.
really funny actually. You could also do that. You could just
No,
you could respond.
because I feel like
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah, that's true. I feel like 80% of it would just be like, yeah, I'm Ricky, and actually, like, forget what I was gonna say. Like, that's so true, Lane. Like, you're so right, actually.
That would be a really funny bit. Maybe I'll do that.
Forget my dumb, stupid point, actually. The computer, which doesn't frickin' work.
I'm realizing now I did the shitty count that you don't like. Again, I'm sorry. I counted in weird cadence. I know you don't like it when I count the weird cadence, so my bad. I've looked up before, like, how to make your podcast sound good, and I've never found anything very worthwhile as far as, like, tips go for making your podcast sound not like it was made by amateurs, but, I feel like we're even below amateurs. Like, audio quality, our mics are fine, yeah, and, the audio quality, I think, is fine, but, it could be better. Yeah, that's a lost cause. There's no one online. Yeah, yeah. The only thing that can help us there is if we die and stop making this podcast. Honestly, if one of us passed away and the other one had to record the next episode just to release and be like, hey, the podcast is ending, that would be our best episode. It would be one of us needs to die, honestly. So, well, something I almost wrote in my letterbox review for Brokeback Mountain, but I didn't write it because I was like, I don't want to put this in writing. I was like, if Mario Kart didn't come out literally the next day after I watched Brokeback Mountain, I probably would have killed myself. I was like, this is not okay. I can't handle this. But no, Mario Kart World is good. It's really fun. Yeah, yeah. The mechanics are kind of weirdly different. Like I say that they're not real. It's still Mario Kart. It's the same thing. But like when I first played it, there were like several things that really threw me for a loop. Like you no longer have to hold an item behind you. Like if you get like a green shell or a banana peel, it'll hang out behind you. You don't have to press a button even to like queue it up. It'll just automatically like be in defense mode, which levels the playing field probably. But it took me like a good like 2 or 3 Grand Prix before it like totally like the habit of like trying to hold it and then accidentally just shooting the thing backward, like before I broke that habit because I'm so used to doing it. The weighting is different. The weight feels a little bit different, so it feels a little no, like the cart heaviness. Yeah. Things feel heavier. But so everything feels a little slower, but you also get the sensation that you're never not moving. Like there's a lot of chances you can wall ride, you can do tricks, you can like grind on rails and things, which is cool. But there's a lot of opportunities for like speed boosts. And I remember when they first started to really like put in Mario Kart 8, when they put all of the speed boosts in as much as they did, because they were more sparing in past versions of the game. And so Mario Kart 8 was like, they're everywhere. Like every course had like many, many speed boosts. And it's like, but they don't feel as fast because they're everywhere and they don't make you, like they don't speed you up as much. So They definitely have a lot. Part of that is because it's the open world. We sound more academic and intelligent talking about this than we've ever sounded on the show. How are the artists in conversation with each other? No, so no, the maps are still very cluttered. Now, part of that is remedied by it being an open map. So like when you do the free roam, you can like drive around, like everything's connected. Everything's connected, man. So, you can go from one course to another, and there's stuff in between those courses, and the courses themselves, when you're playing in like Grand Prix, they have turns and things blocked off. So it does have that cluttered feel. Like, so Mario Kart Tour, which is the mobile game, has a bunch of the like real city maps as courses that got ported into Mario Kart 8 as DLC. So like you can play in like London and shit like that. And I hate those fucking maps. I don't like them at all. Yeah, they're very. I mean, it's like driving around a city, and it's like I hate. Why would I want to do that? I want to go in Moo Moo Meadows. So they don't have that problem here, where it's like it feels like a city. Like everything is a little bit more spaced out because you can have 24 riders in one cup, like one Grand Prix, which is a lot. Yeah, but the balance feels right, and after a couple of races, it did like I think we found a groove, so we've been able to space it out. But it does get pretty hectic in there. The item balancing feels good, like it doesn't feel like there's too much shit going on in that way. The way I think sometimes Mario Kart 8, I feel like they nailed the Formula 2 perfectly to where it's like they have like the maximums of like it's like the most bleh a game can get. Like without being like a mobile game. I don't know how to describe it, but so Mario Kart 8 is great, but this is I think they've found a little bit more of an enjoyable kind of like speed, so to speak. I have like a a, a deeply held conspiracy theory that the Wii U version was better than the Switch. I don't have any proof, but I feel like it got more bleh on the Switch. Well, yeah, Mario Kart Wii is good, but like, no, but Mario Kart 8 was on both. Yeah, a classic version of a Wii U game that got ported to Switch, and everyone's like, this is a great game! And it's like, yeah, if you had bought it on the fucking Wii U, we'll play with the gamepad. I feel like the weight and, like, or level of item deployment in the Wii U version was different. I just remember it playing a lot less bleh than when it came out on the Switch. But I don't know for sure. But no, Tour is great. I've enjoyed it. Oh yeah, yeah. We've done probably more of the free roam than we have. Yeah, because it's. I mean, there's missions and things, and the missions are just like collect the coins within the time slot, but like you have to do tricks or like you have to dodge stuff or follow a certain obstacle course, so it's fun. And then there's like collectibles and whatnot, which I love, and it's very easy to just slot in and play, like GTA, like free play, like where you can just like let me finish this tight 10 on Mario Kart real quick. The one thing my one complaint that I have is the soundtrack. I love that they've done more, like a lot of the soundtrack is covers of older game like music, so like they have songs from Galaxy. They have songs from like the original games that were have been updated and kind of done in a different style, which I like. But they've kept a lot of the like jazzy bossa nova music, which and I said this to Chris, and then I was like, I need to be taken out back and like put down for even saying this, but it feels like this isn't a good sign of like carving out a new identity in the era of the Switch, that that Mario Kart has not evolved past that jazzy music that was so important to the Wii U era. Like Wii era music, classic, very distinct. People still fucking crave it. People love the Wii Shop theme, But then, and the Wii U music is good too, like that, like jazzy, like but and they used it in all their games, But then, we're still kind of doing it. Odyssey has a little bit more of like a sweeping orchestral song. Like it just feels like they're too scared. But Mario Wonder has a pretty decent soundtrack, but it's a little more basic. It's not, it's more of a return to like a new Super Mario Brothers type of soundtrack where things were going like wop wop all the time. But no, so the fact that they're still doing kind of like jazzy music, I'm like, We need something new and fresh here. We need a little bit more. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think they have so many iconic like styles that it's time for something new. Of course, I don't work for Nintendo, so I don't know, but I do worry that it's like a trend toward a sanitized version. Like they're too scared almost to go too cartoonish. Now I say that, and like the game is very cartoonish. There's silliness in the game, but like it almost feels like they fear that like now that they've crossed the Rubicon into like jazz and like kind of a more adult genre, like you could potentially pass off some of that music in like as like elevator music or something, like the style versus like you're gonna hear like Mario Galaxy or like the original Mario Bros music and you're like, obviously this is, you know, video game music. I don't know. I might be cooked, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm very curious to see the new Donkey Kong come out next month and see what that's like. And then obviously eventually there will be a new Mario and we'll do a whole episode on that. I don't think there's enough to do a movie on. No, I love that movie because it makes me want to play the game. I think that's the perfect thing that movie does. Like I'm playing this Mario Kart World several times. I've been like, I gotta go back to fucking Universal Studios and go to the Nintendo World again. Like I want to go back. And all of these products work fucking together in the symphony of making me want to buy more Nintendo shit. So I'm a sucker, but that's what the movie is. The movie, it looks a lot better. Like if it was a dialogueless cut, which maybe there is one. You know how people do like Star Wars fan cuts where they like, reorder things and like do editing? Yeah. I'm gonna No, well no. People do like Star Wars cut like edits of like the old like of the prequels. Like fans will be like, this is like a better version. Like I don't necessarily believe this, but people will be like, oh, I have they'll cut Jar Jar out. Like, they'll cut out Jar Jar Binks. And it's like, oh, this is or like people will like, reorganize the story a little bit so it makes more sense or flows better because those movies are a mess. But, like that kind of thing. So I would love to see. That's fair. They're kids' movies for kids. I'm sorry. Like, it's fine. Like, we don't need to pretend. That Jar Jar is out of place. Did you see Yoda in the first one? Or the second one? The first series? Anyway, I know movies. This is We Want to Watch. My name is Lane. Hi, Archie. That's Archie. You can't see him, but he's here. He's actually our editor. He's our creative director. This is a podcast where we watch movies and then talk about them. And this is Pride Month. Happy Pride. We're doing a mini-series. Funnily enough, our Pride picks were Brokeback Mountain from 2005, directed by Ang Lee, and Theater Camp from 2023, directed by Nick Lieberman and Molly Gordon. I'm just gonna say right off the bat, we're not spending any fucking time talking about Theater Camp. I will give you 5 minutes max to talk about this movie. I think it's so ludicrous that you picked this movie, especially watching it with Brokeback Mountain paired together. I was like, this is so fucking stupid. I can't believe Ricky made me watch this movie. To be clear, this is one you picked. I bet you did. What movies don't you like, Ricky? Wicked City. It's deeply annoying and unfunny and shot very ugly. But other than that, it was fine. It was fine. It felt like a season of TV. You know what? Let's get this out of the way. Let's talk about this first, just so we can be done with talking about this and fucking talk about the real important piece of cinema here. It felt like a season of TV condensed into a movie. Derogatory. Like yeah. Yeah. Like, oh, you don't like that show? I don't know anything about that show other than that people like it. Yeah, because that's shot in the same like mockumentary style, right? Like, isn't that movie or that show is? Which, like, why was this shot like that? There was no reason. And, like, did the performers know? Did they know? Because it didn't come up at all. Like, it doesn't ever, like, no one's ever, like, doing an interview with the filmmaker, quote unquote, like, documentarians. Like, it felt like a lazy device. Like, yeah, the intertitles, like, cards. Yeah. You know why they did that? You know why it's shot like that? Money, because it saves money. Because then they didn't have to show somebody like on a yacht burning down whatever. Yeah. Exactly. It's like, we'll just hand this away with a title card. Um, I have very little to say about this. I had like, no, I mean, there were funny bits in it. Of course, like of all of the jokes, I feel like there were maybe one of 5 to 6 would hit or land, and like, especially there were. I felt the opposite. I felt like there were long stretches where there were no jokes, not even an attempt at a joke, where it was just like, there are so many scenes in this. I'm steamrolling. I don't care. There are so many like shots in this of actors burying their head in their hands that it became like, I don't even know, like the visual language of this movie became like half burying your head in your face, or your face in your hands. Like I don't know how to describe it. It was just, yeah. No, he's just doofy. Yeah, yeah. Did you ever watch American Vandal on Netflix? Like 7 or 8 years ago, it was a mockumentary true crime, but fake. But it was about like he drew penises on cars or something in like high school. And he, like Jimmy Tatro, who is the guy who plays the son, the doofy son, he's in that playing like a doofy high schooler guy, and he's fun. I mean, I think this cast is mostly innocent. I'm not convinced that the two, like Ben Platt and Molly Gordon, the whatever, Julia Diane, Rebecca Diane, and Amos, I like the two adults. I'm not convinced that they are should not be sent to the Hague for this, since I think they wrote it. But I don't know. I don't like I feel like this was bait. I feel like you picked this to bait me because like I just don't like musical theater. I mean, it feels like you picked it like I'm trying to think of like a comparable, like we watched a movie that was obviously for a like demographic of fucking nerds that is not us, for no reason other than that there are gay people in it. There aren't even gay themes in this. Like, yeah, you know how you found this movie? You search like gay movies, and then you picked the most recent 6 movies that came up on Google. You think this was a good movie? That's not what I asked. I didn't ask if you liked it. I asked if you thought it was a good movie. I think the movie will literally play if I hit play on my TV screen. I think the movie like has a runtime, and there was maybe a screenplay at some point. They storyboarded it. It was shot. God. There were credits. Yeah. This is the most inconsequential movie that we've ever watched. I feel confident saying that. This is the most vacuous and inconsequential movie that we've watched, bar none. We've watched worse movies recently. But like, as far as like, yes. Are you kidding me? Beyond the Sea is a rich text. I dare. Okay, let's talk about it. Talk about Theater Camp. Tell me more about what you thought about it, Ricky. There's nothing to this fucking movie. There's nothing here. There's nothing to talk about. You should be in jail. I'm calling it a drone strike. I'm not saying it's the worst movie. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. You know, this is why I shoot down some of your picks. Not because I think, oh, I won't like that movie, because I am open to watching movies I don't think I'll like. It's the, is there something to talk about? Is this just a movie? Is this just a movie that was made? I'm looking through a list. I'm looking through this list. I don't see another movie like even the Christmas Chronicles, I think, edges this one out. And like as far as like things to talk about. Like, am I crazy? I think this is the most bullshit nonsense movie we've ever watched for this show. Thank you. Okay, cool. Do you have anything else to say about it? I would feel comfortable calling this slop. I would feel comfortable. I would label this slop. No offense to listen. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 theater gays out there listening to this. I respect you. You're allowed to have your slop. I'll watch my Mario movie slop. That's fine. It's all good. But not for this podcast. I won't watch it. There's just not that much to talk about. You're valid. You can have your comfort movie. There were some funny, like bits for sure. I'm not saying that this movie was. I just think it's so like average, below, like slightly below average, like streaming service. Not like tell me anything about the cinematography of this movie besides the fact that it's shot like an episode of The Office. Lighting? Since we have nothing else to say about this movie, I'm going to talk about a different movie I just went and saw. It was called The Ritual. So let me preface this by saying a couple years ago or last year, there was a movie called The Pope's Exorcist that came out. That was Russell Crowe. Have you seen this? Do you know it? Now, by good, it's not that good. Fun. It was goofy, but yes, Christopher and I had one of the best theater experiences watching this movie. Like, just Russell Crowe driving around on a Vespa, like, doing a bad accent. No, you're thinking of Conclave. Also, it's Rafe Fiennes. Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes. We said this maybe 2 weeks ago. But so, you're welcome. So, Pope's Exorcist, fun, right? Okay, like kind of, it seemed like just Russell Crowe getting a paycheck. It was fun. We had fun. Then this movie I caught wind of called The Ritual, which is like an indie movie. I can't find anything about the budget. Like there are like 5 different production companies I've never heard of funding it, so I'm like, oh, okay, this is like crazy. And it stars Dan Stevens, who I don't think you would know from anything. Let me see if I can. Let me look at his filmography real quick. He's from the newest Godzilla Kong movie. Yes. I don't know if you recognize him, but anyway, so he's in it. The other big actor, so Dan Stevens is playing like the younger priest who's in over his head and he's questioning his faith. This is also very similar to the plot of The Pope's Exorcist, which is Russell Crowe plays like the older exorcist who's like, he's been around the block and he knows and he's done his thing, and then there's a younger, questioning his faith, whatever, cardinal. This is very similar. Dan Stevens is the younger guy. The older guy, Al Pacino. And I was like, I have to see this movie in theaters right now. They start posting show times. It's an hour and 38 minutes, maybe. And that probably includes 8 minutes of credits if I were to guess. And so I'm like, uh-oh. Ricky, I'm not kidding you. It's easily the worst movie I've ever seen in the movie theater, and maybe bottom 5 worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It will have to, and part of the reason it was shot with this style of mockumentary, like handheld, not a single frame, not a single shot in the movie they could not afford a tripod. Like, it was crazy. It deflated all tension. This was a horror movie. Yes, they had none. Yeah. And so I won't get into it because that could be a whole other podcast, and maybe we'll watch it someday. But I was like, we should watch this for the show so you can really have like a landmark. This is the worst movie. Yes, like a bad movie, like a really bad movie. So anyway, if you're out there, don't go see The Ritual from 2025. Maybe we will. Maybe we will one day. But it was shot in the same mockumentary style, but there was no documentary, like, it wasn't like, and this is the footage from the event. No, it just looked like that. It was crazy. It was so bad. Okay. It just sucked. Do you have anything else to say about theater camp? You are so... And during Pride Month, apologize to all women. So I picked Brokeback Mountain. Yeah, I knew this was a landmark gay text. Like, a very important film, capital FTM film. Especially for, like, LGBT representation in movies, mainstream movies, like all of these things. And so I knew that this movie had like a crazy reputation. It's by Ang Lee, our guy, our man of Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. Same director. Yeah, it's the same guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You didn't, yeah. So part of his like directorial he also, I've seen, I think 5 of his movies, maybe 4 or 5 of his movies now. And kind of his thing is that he makes a different genre of movie every time. Like, that he's always like doing something different. So he made Sense and Sensibility before Pride and Prejudice. Yeah. Go ahead. Don't tell me you haven't been recording. It's Pride Month. We watched 2 more movies in continuation of the themes here. So the first one that, the 2 were Brokeback Mountain from 2005, directed by Ang Lee, and Theater Camp from 2023, directed by Nick Lieberman and Molly Gordon. Theater Camp was, I went long on Theater Camp being a piece of shit that wasn't worth our time to talk about. There's nothing about that movie. That is the most non-existent movie with no themes and no depth and nothing to it and no craftsmanship that we've maybe ever watched. That's the summary for how I felt about that movie. Ricky said, I liked it. Moving on to Brokeback Mountain, which is way better and more important.
It was fun!
No, so we were talking about Ang Lee right before.
Yeah.
your computer
Yeah.
shit the bed entirely. So no, he'd done Eat, Drink, Man, Woman movie we'd watch. Shout out to that episode. He did a movie called Sense and Sensibility, so a Jane Austen adaptation, not Pride and Prejudice, but another one.
Yeah.
He's done Life of Pi, if you remember that movie, with like a kid on a raft.
Yeah. And there's a tiger,
There's
right?
a tiger. I don't know, I haven't seen it, but yes.
Okay.
He did a Hulk movie. He did the first Hulk, like the one with Edward Norton.
Well,
Or no, Eric
2005?
Bana. No, 2003.
2003.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
maybe
before
that's what I'm thinking of.
before like the Marvel stuff happened.
Yeah.
He did Gemini Man. He did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. He's done other stuff too. But so my point being, he's done a lot of different, like, varied movies. So,
Yeah.
I always forget that he did Brokeback Mountain, a movie I have not seen up until now. This is good too, because I started this episode by saying that if Mario Kart hadn't come out like the next day, I probably would have killed myself after watching Brokeback Mountain. And now no one knows that I said that. So
Yeah, it's just faded into the ether.
it's just
You don't
gone.
have to admit
Yeah,
it
I don't.
publicly on air a second
A
time.
second time, yeah.
Yeah.
But no. So I had said this is a very like watershed movie. Big Oscars movie, even though it did not ultimately win. We'll talk about that. The Best Picture prize. But yeah, I mean, this movie blew me away. This was just an incredible movie.
Yeah.
Awesome. An instant classic.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fantastic film. Yeah.
You had said like earlier last week or a couple weeks ago, you were like, "Yeah, I'm not feeling good. Let's not record today. Maybe I'll just get a jump on the next movie in the series. I'm feeling kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch Brokeback Mountain." And I didn't know like beat for beat this whole movie, but I knew that this was like a sad movie. And I was like, Ricky, you can't do this. You can't like watch this movie.
Well, I was like, I don't think I can like I have the energy to talk, but I can probably watch. I did not. I could not. So, but yeah.
And you mentioned earlier too that you watched Theater Camp like the next day. And I feel like that's not even enough. Like I feel like you would have needed to like mainline this like Theater Camp or something like immediately after Brokeback ended to really like wash away the pain.
Like bounce back. No. I went to bed in pain. Status quo, and then I woke up nothing to live for.
Mm-hmm.
I got to Theater Camp and I was like, oh, thank God! Like this was fun.
Yeah. The thing about Brokeback is like, which I'm affectionately calling it that now. It's my new, like I'm on first name basis, first word basis with this movie now.
I feel like that happens with a lot of people that watch the movie. No, I feel like I've almost always heard it referred to just as Brokeback.
Maybe
like like watching it, you're like, oh yeah, Brokeback.
Yeah.
I want my ashes scattered there too. You know?
I do actually.
I love Brokeback.
Well, and it sucks because when they say it in the movie, the time you remember them saying it is when Jake Gyllenhaal is like, and now all we got is Brokeback Mountain, and he like
Brokeback Mountain. Yeah.
He's having fun in this movie. But no, what I was gonna say is like, this movie isn't just sad the whole time. Like it's got that undercurrent of sadness, but it's not like misery porn, But
it's romantic.
It's very romantic.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much yearning.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on.
Yeah. So it keeps it from being a movie that's like, oh, this is such a downer, I'd never want to watch this again. Like, when this episode comes out, I think is the weekend that it's being re-released in theaters, and I was like, I gotta go fucking see this in theaters.
We'll be rewatching it in theaters.
Yeah. So did you know anything about this movie? I mean, I'm sure you've heard it described as the gay cowboy movie. Yeah, right.
Yeah, of course. What are you talking about? Of course I knew that.
I don't know. Did you have any, like, did you grow up hearing about it? I'm sure you were old enough to, like, hear the homophobia at the time when it came out.
Yeah. But, I mean, the jokes were also essentially just, haha, gay cowboys.
Yeah,
right? Like, there was anything, like, deeper than that.
I think this movie's, like, it's kind of quaint in a way. I think part of why it's, like, aged so well, I don't know. It's like, I think that a lot of movies with like gay themes or about gay couples before like the last like 10 or so years or even 15 years, like pre-marriage equality, like sometimes you watch those movies that are supposed to be like, this is groundbreaking, we're showing you like a gay couple for the first time. Like sometimes I feel like they can age really poorly, especially because the characters are like, I don't know, not just like one note, maybe, like not even necessarily like offensive,
they're too stereotypical.
But
right?
yeah, like or yeah,
It just they fit the mold like way too strictly. Yeah,
and I feel like part of so this is based on a short story, so it's not like this is just because of the movie, but just the source material. But the idea of it not being so much that they are ashamed of who they are, but that they are repressed because of like outside, factors in like society, especially in contrast to Boys in the Band, another movie we watched, which is all about self-hatred. And that movie, there are parts of it that you could definitely think are like have aged poorly, like, oh, this is such a stereotype, like the self-hating gay, whatever, like the repressed into like because of shame, like closeted guy. But like this movie is so much more complex and like forgiving than that, because it focuses everything on the society. They aren't like, oh, I can't, there's no scene of them being like, oh, I'm such a fucked up person because I'm into you. Like there's none of that. It's all about how they're forced into their situation by outside factors.
Well, I mean, he does say, I wish I could quit you, and it's, I forget his last name.
Del Mar. Yeah.
Del Mar, yeah.
But it's not
kind of sick. There's a lot of great lines like that in here.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, that is more, it's just like more love story fare than it is, torturous, like self-hatred sort of,
There are some incredible lines in this. I mean, I've obviously people have heard.
And like, excellent line delivery too.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, we mentioned some earlier, but go on.
Well, no, I mean, I wish I could quit you. I've definitely heard people say this is a goddamn bitch of an unsatisfactory situation. I've heard that before. Which great delivery.
What he sees me is Jack fucking Twist, and like they like grab each other. They go, "You son of a bitch, how you been?" I've had friends like say that to me like bar for bar, like Ricky fucking. You son of a bitch,
Thank you for
gotta beep that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You're right. Thank you for making sure that this episode was going to be a really easy one for me to deal with. I can forgive the chopped and screwed losing your audio, but now I have to fucking bleep this too. That's all right.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay. It's all right. I'm on the plane tomorrow. It's fine. I'll be cruising, editing at 20,000 feet. One other line, which I think is so tough, but like is done so well. And I don't want to just like immediately jump to the middle of the movie, but like when Michelle Williams, who plays Ennis's ex-wife at this point, says, Jack Twist, Jack Nasty, is so like, it's such a tough line. Like that is a real, like that, but she delivers it and like, it comes out sounding so stupid, I don't know. It's just really funny. But like there's some good, like good lines that, add character and just are so memorable in this.
Oh yeah. I feel like this is a very quotable movie. And like watching it in theaters with people who have watched it before would be, I don't know. Like, does this movie have like a cult following? Like similar to something like Heat?
No, because this is a movie about gay people, and Heat is the most heterosexual movie ever made. But it does have a following.
True, I guess,
I don't think people would be like shouting at the screen for this movie, because this is an important and relatively serious movie compared to Heat. But people definitely like will be, I think, emotional and like involved in the theater, so.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, like obviously, like Rocky Horror Picture Film, or right? That's what it is.
Show. Title. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Sure. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Damn, so close. I was like.
Are you comparing Brokeback Mountain to Rocky Horror right now?
No. I'm just no. I'm not.
Rockback Horror.
I'm not.
Rock Horror Mountain.
Rockback Horror. Mountain Show.
Rocky
Mountain
Nasty.
Show.
We can't start this.
Rocky Nasty. That's crazy. Yeah.
But no, this movie was nominated for Best Picture. This movie won Ang Lee the Best Director Oscar. This movie was nominated for like screenplay and like a whole bunch of other stuff. But it famously lost Best Picture to Crash, which is like one of the worst fucking like most embarrassing Best Picture winners ever made. We'll watch that movie. I was thinking,
what is Crash? Okay.
Crash is like a okay, you
Is
know
that based on that book?
what? I don't know.
The book Crash?
Is there a book Crash? I don't know.
There's a book Crash, yeah.
I don't. Maybe. No, I don't think
Popular
so.
Around 2003.
No.
Not the age. They're dating myself. Date my age. Yeah.
No, Crash is like Sandra Bullock, Michael Pena. It's like everything is connected and everyone is racist a little bit and isn't racism bad kind of a movie. And it's like terrible. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like very like peak melodramatic, derogatory Oscars bait, like white people patting themselves on the back for racism, like, or being anti-racist, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I was thinking while I was watching this and like thinking about that, which there's such a funny clip of Jack Nicholson reading that Crash won Best Picture. I'll have to send it to you after this. Because he looks at the envelope, like he's like, and the Oscar for Best Picture goes to, and he like opens it up and he goes like this. Like his eyebrows skyrocket to the top of his forehead. And then he goes, he kind of leans into the mic and he's like, Crash. It's so funny. I watch it all the time.
But I feel like you said that to me before. I feel like I've seen that.
I'm sure you've seen it. It's a classic clip. Because people like audibly gasp in the audience too after he announces it. Because people are like, oh, the better movie lost? That's terrible. That's so sad. But I say all this to say this movie was super well acclaimed and has only gotten more esteem, I think, in the last 20 years. So yes, I think you could find people to quote this movie to, even though some of it might be in poor taste. But
yeah, that's true. I mean, I'll grant you that, but it's also like, it's such a good movie.
It's a great movie.
And I feel like people love quoting in poor taste, you know?
It's true.
They just love it.
It's true. So when this first starts, and it kind of just gets right off to the races, like right from the beginning. Like it actually, the first sex scene and like all of the buildup that happens, it happens so well. And I thought of you while watching this because
I'm touched.
Well, and I thought of something we talk about often.
Yeah.
No, you should be, but no, is that a worse movie would draw out the relationship kind of starting a lot longer. Like this movie gets right to it and focuses like, because the important and like interesting thing about this relationship isn't like, why are these two guys attracted to each other? Like, and why do they fall in love? It's what happens when they can't be together. That is the more interesting thing. And so it gets right to it. Yes. A worse movie would definitely kind of start and like draw it out, and there would be a lot more like subtle hints of them like touching each other and then being like weirded out by it, or they would say something to each other to like, but I'm not into you, right? Or, but instead it's like they start roughhousing and like kind of patting each other in the back. One of Jack kind of tends to Ennis's face when he gets attacked or falls off his horse or whatever, and then like boom, they're sleeping together. Which like yeah.
A worse movie would have it so that like, I mean, so Jack already had, or not Jack, Ennis already had like a fiance. Right?
Yeah.
Which like he sort of mentions. A worse movie we would have glimpses into their lives
before this.
Met,
yeah.
right?
We don't need anything. We don't need to. Yeah. There's such effective characterization in the beginning, just in the very little that they do talk. Like, I mean, that fact that Ennis doesn't really say much of anything for the first 40 minutes of the movie is like so much character in itself. Like, what does he say and what doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, because like we get to watch the damn break.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit.
And it's like the same thing with their relationship.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. It's nice. And I love that. I think it's super well paced.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is. I mean, we don't care about who they were before they got to Brokeback.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You can't help yourself. It's like Kane,
That's all
Brokeback, and Heat. Every movie is made better by making it one word title. Heat had the right idea for that reason.
Drop Mountain.
It's clean.
Brokeback. It's clean.
Have you seen The Social Network? Have you even seen that fucking movie?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Yeah, a couple of times.
I'm sorry. Sorry that I can't keep track of the 30 movies that you've seen. Not including the ones that we've seen for this podcast.
It's a small list. It should be easy.
If you kept your letterbox up to date, I would be fine. Something though that I thought about too in the beginning, especially, is their job of sheep herding on the mountain or ranching or whatever you want to call it. It's predicated on hiding and deception, and I don't know. I thought that was kind of like a neat touch, because I definitely thought that there was going to be, they hide it, but they're not hiding it that much, especially as the movie goes on. They're pretty basically like as out as they can be given the situation, I think, and so, especially with their having wives and children, and so I definitely thought that was going to be more of like a mirroring of the hiding that they would have to do, but instead they basically, I mean, they abandon the watching the sheep and like hiding and whatever, like without a fire and stuff. They do that at the same time that they decide to be together, and so I don't know. I thought that was neat.
Just going to stem the rose, right?
That shit is so crazy. That when he said that, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, this is that old timey homophobia. This is that shit you can't say. This is like pansy. Like when you were like, is pansy offensive?
I had a different read of that, and maybe I'm crazy. I thought it was because like he was also like a closeted gay man, and he was like,
what?
He was like, yeah, I know you guys were like, going at it up there. Yeah, my bad.
Oh, you had no. Well, I mean, stemming the rose is incredibly vulgar. Like that is such a shockingly vulgar thing to say. So
does that not just mean jerking off? Is that
no? The rose is a butthole. Stemming, like sticking your. That is totally what that means. Yeah. No.
Okay, gotcha.
Well,
I gotta get this cat out of here. Give me a sec. Sorry.
That's Ennis talking about his wife. I gotta get this cat out of here.
I gotta get this cat out of here.
But I don't do this often, but one of the top Letterboxd like one-liner reviews about this movie was like, I like to think that the cowboy farmer or whatever, wasn't actually homophobic. He just didn't like that they were fucking around instead of watching his sheep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I don't think so. Although I do like that he isn't like, I mean, again, stemming the rose sounds so, it's like the most fucked up thing you could say, but I do like that he's mostly just like, these fucking ranch hands don't know shit. Like he's mostly mad about them being incompetent, which is nice, but no, I mean, the first like hour of this movie, he has
a good reason to be like mad.
Yeah,
he like lost a bunch of sheep. He's like, all right,
well,
fucking guys, like I'm not paying you to like,
they go up,
be up there, jerking each other off and shit while my sheep die, bro. Like, come on.
Not only that, but they bring back the wrong sheep, which is even funnier. Like, which I mean, symbolically, there's a lot there of like when they first find the dead sheep, the one like they got eaten by the coyotes after they have sex, like it's a bad omen.
Yeah, the way it's like split open.
Yeah, and then like for them to. They're coming back all mixed up.
It's a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So, no, okay, so you keep saying that they were jerking each other off. No. They were going in. Like, that, which, like, the first sex scene really took me off guard in that way, because, okay, I know you haven't seen this movie, but do you remember a couple years ago the movie Poor Things with Emma Stone?
I've heard of it, yeah for sure.
That's a Yorgos Lanthimos movie, so Kinds of Kindness, that director.
Yeah.
So that movie is basically, in the very beginning, she is like, the brain of a baby in an adult woman's body. Kind of. Whatever. for lack of a
Weird.
better, yeah. And so the very beginning of that movie is when, like, the whole movie's about her, like, discovering sex, basically. And, like, she
Mm.
starts to explore her body sexually when she realizes, like, it feels good by shoving things inside her vagina. Like, she, like, shoves, like, an apple up there and, like, all kinds of stuff, like, to basically, and it's played for laughs of, like, oh, she's, like,
Mm-hmm.
innocently, like, realizing that this is pleasurable. But, like, that pissed me off and,
Mm-hmm.
like, really put me off from that movie from the beginning because, and that movie's fine, but, like, the idea of if a, you know, like when you're first like exploring your genitals as like a kid, like you don't stick things in there. You're like, this doesn't feel
No.
good. That's not what
Yeah,
that's about.
yeah.
It's all about the clit.
And there's no arousal too.
Well,
There's
no,
like nothing there.
no, I'm saying when
Like
you first like discover sexual
really.
pleasure, it's like you're humping stuff,
Oh,
or
okay.
like
Yeah,
you're rubbing it and you don't
yeah, yeah,
realize.
yeah,
Obviously, like,
yeah,
you know, like people with penises do it too, right? In the same way of like you touch it and you realize like, oh, it feels good, even if you're not like, I want to stick this in something.
yeah.
But like, you don't really stick stuff up in there. That's not like,
No,
it
no,
takes a
no.
while to get to that stage. And so the idea of like, I promise there's a point to this. Um, the idea
Okay.
in this movie that this character that is basically just like kind of a weird male fantasy is immediately shoving stuff up inside her. It's like, okay, like this is a very like male take on it.
The whole premise is kind of weird to me, to be honest
It's,
with you. Like just right off the bat, that's very
yeah,
weird.
I don't know. I guess I've heard a lot of it is lost in translation because the book that movie is based on, I guess, is more satirical of like the idea of the sexy born yesterday kind of trope of like this, hot lady is now like, has the innocent mind of a child. Like that's a trope, right? That's the whole Fifth Element thing. That's why I don't want to fucking
Mm.
watch that movie. But like,
Oh yeah. Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
um, but I guess in the book, it's a lot more because it's like presented from the perspective of the men in the story, and it's supposed to be a little bit more tongue in cheek that they see her this way, but she might not actually, like, they're not reliable narrators. That is what I've heard, and then I guess
Mm.
the movie just takes it in a different direction. I don't know, whatever, that movie's fine. All that to say,
Weird. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
in this first sex scene in Brokeback Mountain, I was like, they'd be doing hand stuff or mouth stuff. They wouldn't immediately go on all fours. Like, which is fine. Like,
Oh no, they're going at it.
yeah, they just go, but like, that's the one thing I was like, okay, this is, I don't know. Like, you would probably like fondle each other first. I get that there's like a point to it, and obviously Heath Ledger or Ennis is like, just like overwhelmed in this moment and seems to kind of just rush into everything. But yeah, that part did. I was like, Christopher and I, when we were watching it, we were both like, "Whoa, we're just starting. We're like,
Oh,
there's no,
hey,
yeah,
get back to first base there, buddy.
yeah,
What's going
yeah.
on?
Come on, yeah." But
Ever hear of any class? No decency?
but then the second sex scene is really nice. While they're up on the mountain, like where they're kissing, it's hot. They're like, like seem to be a little bit more. Obviously, they're like more sober and not like half asleep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was when I was like, oh, this is gonna be devastating. This movie's gonna make me fucking cry like a baby. Is when they started to like actually
Yeah.
like show more affection toward each other. Is over.
The one where I believe it's the first time they meet up, or like meet up like intentionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where Ennis is like sort of being held by the other dude, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, that's cute. Like that's really nice.
Yeah.
Like
And the
Jack was
flashback.
like saying how much he missed Ennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny to me because like Jack communicates so wholeheartedly how
He's so eager.
deep his love is,
Yeah.
like all the time, constantly.
Yeah.
And Ennis like shows it for sure with his actions, but he never says it.
No.
And he like he even sort of like shies away from it all the time too. But
Yeah.
like he's so over the top with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what, the ending, like my notes literally stop because like I didn't take a ton of notes for this, but I had like 10
It's
or
so
12.
devastating.
Yeah, I was like, I can't even fucking
Yeah.
write for the rest of this because like just they get together for kind of what might be the last time, or ends up being the last time, where it's like, oh, we're gonna have to wait till November. What happened to August? And then just like deceased. I was like, fuck. There's so much unsaid. Like, this poor guy is gonna be just left with no closure and like just completely full of regret. And like the thought of, and we'll talk about like him visiting Jack's bedroom and stuff, but like, yeah, the thought of like losing someone that suddenly with no closure, and you didn't even get the chance to ever really admit or declare your love for them, like, is so fucking heart-wrenching. Like, that's tough. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, also seeing him be like killed.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That sucked. That scene's tough. Yeah.
So apparently,
I mean, even though it's small and it's sort of interspersed in there, but
apparently that's supposed to be ambiguous. That like you're not supposed to necessarily,
right.
But like,
so it could just be right. So it could just be like what
he's imagining
because like
yeah,
that's what he saw as a kid, and he's like, oh, like the same thing happened here, yada yada.
What did you think? Yeah.
What the parents say later lends credence to it, right? Where they talk about how
I thought so too.
Had met someone else. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Well, oh, okay. So like
this was definitely a gay bashing.
He was somehow outed, and like it was just like a much worse area to be outed in.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be like recognized down.
I thought so too.
Texas, and he sort of talks about that earlier because like he talks about like, oh, like I've been to Mexico because like they were talking about going down to Mexico.
Yeah.
And he's like, what they do to folks like
yeah,
down in Mexico, and he was like, well. I've been to Mexico. You haven't.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, all right.
It's sad. So, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did understand that it was not like definitive, right?
No.
It wasn't shown like normally.
Yeah. But, well, that's why I wanted to ask you about the ambiguity of it, because you wouldn't necessarily know. Because even if you did find out, it's not like he's connected enough with any of of Jack's family to ask the question. You know what I mean? Like outright. So it's just another piece of a lack of closure, is that he doesn't even know the truth of what happened, or, so I had read the short story, after watching the movie. I read the short story and like,
oh, you were down bad.
I was down fucking bad. I like couldn't work the next day. I was like, I should be allowed to take the day off. No. I was fucking in the trenches fighting for my life. No, but so I read the short story and there was a line in it where it's an omniscient narrator, but Ennis says in his mind, like, all he could think about was that Jack drowned in his own blood with no one there to turn him over. And like, man, that's tough. I know you're not, you don't have an SO right now, but not to out you to the watchers, but like, that's just a really tough thing to fucking think about.
I mean, I did lose a cat recently who I, 4 years, a decent relationship, right? I obviously know it's different, right? But
during Proud Month,
I still understand the pain of loss, right?
I know. Well, yes, but the there's a difference. There's a degree.
But the very specific, I know. It's very specific, and it's especially for like an established relationship. I understand.
If they ever do find out who beat Lionel in the face with a tire iron, let me know in a gay bashing. I'd like to be there to help.
Hey, it's on site, all right. But that's what I'm saying.
I know.
I obviously get that it's different, but
I know you do. Well, I do want to talk more about the ending, but before that, we do need to talk about the middle hour of the movie, which is basically them trying to make this work over the course of like 15 years or whatever with their wives. And so, Michelle Williams, you mentioned when they first reconnect together and they go to Ennis's house and she sees them out the window or the door. She like goes to open the door and like say hi or whatever, and like they look like they're about to like grind each other's faces into a pulp. Like they are like connected.
They're going at
it's crazy, which is great. It's hot. I mean, but her reaction is like, she's a great actress. I love her. Michelle Williams is maybe one of the most talented actresses that doesn't have an Oscar. Probably deserved one for this movie. But her acting in that moment, like she goes through so many emotions so subtly and she could very easily be a caricature of like homophobic wife, but she isn't. She plays it with shock more than like disgust or, anger or anything in that moment. She's just like completely overwhelmed. Because you have to consider too, like, this takes place in the 60s. So it's not like gay people are like
Yeah.
unheard of, you know, even though it's definitely not accepted.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, it's not like she had never even thought of gay people before, you know, she'd know. So it's just masterful. I don't know how to describe it else. And then like the
But
minutes after,
especially with how like
yeah,
mhm,
go ahead.
mhm. Especially just with how like Ennis acts. We know that his character, we know what he's like,
Right.
and so we know what he's like around her as well.
Right. He's
And
never
like
kissed
how
her
little
like
he
that.
must have let her in
You know,
at all.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, and then they come in and they're both like shaking from how huge, like fucking bricked
He's
they are.
panting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. Both of them. They're like, hey, we're going to the bar. Don't need me. Don't call. Like,
Yeah. Don't wait up. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be out all night. You know, when we
Yeah.
get we
We
get
get talking.
one drink in us, half a drink maybe.
Yeah.
We're talking.
Yeah.
We're talking. You know,
Yeah.
we're sucking, we're slurping.
We're
I mean,
fucking-
we're
yeah.
talking and talking like we're just up all night. You know.
which
So
is
we're gonna
great.
be gone. We're gonna be out all night until tomorrow, at the very least. Very, very, very earliest is
Fishing.
tomorrow. I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she plays it so. They all play it so well because like they know that she knows, and she obviously like is trying to hide that she knows, but they know. Like, do they know? They all know, but like, you know, it's such a
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
tense scene.
And Ennis,
Yeah.
Ennis never wants to admit it ever.
No,
And like
uh-uh.
even when she like talks to him later, like after she's remarried and everything,
Jack Nasty.
she's like, "Hey, like,
yeah,
like Jack Nasty, yeah," and he gets like he almost hits her.
he
like,
grabs her
throws,
and
too.
basically tries to throw her to the floor. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be very easy to again have like the two wife characters be like completely unsympathetic, like villainous, you know, like enemies, like antagonists. And I think both of these
Yeah.
actresses, I don't love Anne Hathaway. I think this might be my favorite performance of hers I've seen.
Wow. Okay.
I you know, sometimes I find her to be like her, like, I don't know. You heard me talk about theater
I
camp.
thought she was like prestigious.
She is. She's
Yeah.
she's an
Yeah,
Oscar winner.
Okay. Yeah.
But I just, you know, she's just not one of my. She's not on the frame fam. She's not on my bench.
Fair. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I really think she does a great job of playing like icy, but she's not really icy. She could be like just cold, mean, calculated. Like at the end when she's on the phone talking to Ennis, and she realizes who he is, and she's describing what happened to Jack, and she's obviously like recited these like this like cover story of like, oh, he got hit with the, you know,
Yeah.
whatever,
it's
the
like
rim of the
party
tire.
line.
Yeah. But she doesn't say it like with disdain or hate or like disgust of like what actually happened. And you hear her have emotion in her voice because she did love the guy, you know, so she does a
Yeah.
great job.
She's also almost crying.
Yeah.
Like her eyes,
Yeah.
like they're watering up for sure. But
Yeah.
it's like that very like carefully controlled,
Mhm.
like
Mm-hmm.
like I'm getting through this.
Yeah.
And like especially with like such an emotionally laden context, right? Like
Mhm.
like she knows who she's talking to. She's put it together, and it's like, all right, well, like how much does she trust this guy, and how much can she like
Right.
afford
Open
to even,
up
like,
or
tell him,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like knowing who he is and knowing like what he was to
Yeah.
her husband. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes them all such well-rounded, painful characters in that way because they are,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
they're all hurt. I don't want to, they're not victims in the same way, obviously. Like they're casualties.
Hurt people.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. That is another way of putting it. It just, you know, that's like a controversial topic. I think it's, you know, there's like 3 kind of discourses that come up around every Pride Month. And I feel like this is like a distant, like 5th or 6th is like, isn't it terrible that gay people have beards and, you know, will like put these straight people through all this pain by being married to them only to come out later in life. And like, I feel like that's a recurring discourse. Again, not like the top of the Pride Month chain, but like it definitely rears up every couple of months.
It comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this movie does a really good job of showing the complexities of how like, obviously these 2 women are making things worse for themselves, but in certain ways, but they are also dealt a terrible hand just just like these
Yeah.
guys are. So, um, you know,
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of that is just, I mean, it's societal more than anything,
right,
right? Like they're sort of forced into it, and
right,
it's like, well, I mean, what do you expect from them, right? It's like
yeah,
they can't. It's very difficult to break that, right?
hmm,
And then the ones who do are like persecuted and
yeah,
yada yada. So
yeah.
yeah.
It's good. I mean, I really the
What?
middle chunk of the movie is compelling in its own ways. I could watch a lot like more scenes of them, growing apart or growing together, depending on who you're comparing them to over the years. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, they sort of live with a code, right? Like it seems like a lot of it sort of goes unsaid, where they're like, yeah,
Hmm.
like sort of understand what's going on here.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's interesting, even in like Jack Twist's like when he starts talking to the other guy who
Yes.
he was like cheating on. So like he started fucking that guy's wife, right? Like he was cheating on him with
So
the wife.
he said he
No,
was,
am I
but
crazy?
he said he was to
Yeah,
Ennis, but I think really he was actually getting with the guy. Like I think so. Like
with the guy. Okay.
yeah, I think because
Yeah.
it seemed like Ennis was kind of jealous. When that was the whole
Yeah.
Mexico argument was like, I better not find out about the shit you're doing down in Mexico was kind of what he said, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's where
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal is like, I can't get by on a couple of high altitude fucks the way you can, or he says something which like another great line, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Okay, that makes more sense though. Yeah.
that's how I interpreted
That
it
argument. Yeah.
because they also said
No, for sure. Yeah.
the parents at the end were like, "Oh, the other guy was going to leave his wife, this other rancher."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and come up here. Yeah.
but yeah.
So, like, I get that, but like him, they had like a sort of code,
Yeah,
right?
go
And like
fishing.
we talked about that with
Yeah.
Boys in the Band,
Hmm.
right? We're like, yeah, where
If you
they
know,
sort of
you know.
like
Yeah.
like even their yeah, like their mannerisms, their aphorisms, sort of like point to like this sort of like secret code where it's
Hmm.
like, oh, like that's how you can sort of like identify within like the group.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, that's super interesting. It's just like a I don't know. It's a tough way to like live for sure, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a take that I don't like relate to a ton. Or it's like difficult for me to directly relate to because I'm not like a part of like a persecuted group like that.
Yeah.
But it is like very interesting to see like the mechanics behind it, I guess.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, it is kind of its own, like there aren't a lot of subcultures that are like that where it's like if you know, you know, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
and it's fun to see how they've evolved. Like I don't really know about this movie, but I'm sure or like I don't know enough, but I would be surprised if there wasn't very careful attention paid to the way that both of our leads dress to communicate. Like, cowboys are gay. They've always been gay. Gay cowboys have like
Yeah.
since the beginning. And so I would be surprised if there wasn't like specific jackets or like styles that gay cowboys wore to communicate. I just don't know what that is, but like I'm sure that because like obviously these are two good looking dudes and sometimes other characters like other ranch characters or like when Jake or Jack goes to the rodeo and he kind of like starts to pick up the one
He
guy.
approaches the guy at the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously he's laying it on pretty thick there, but I'm sure that other like ranch hands or like cowpokes or whatever would be able to like pick up that these were gay guys even if they weren't. You know what I mean? Just because of the way that they're styled, especially
Yeah.
Jack. So, yeah, I'd be curious to know if there were like certain costume choices or something to like reinforce that.
Yeah. I mean I didn't notice anything, but it'd be
Right.
super interesting to sort of learn about. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They look good. I mean, we should talk about
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger.
The
Like,
whole film looks good. I mean
oh,
the actors
that too.
themselves look great
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
But like yeah. I mean the movie is very visually striking, just like at its core.
I
Right?
found this
Throwing
out.
that out there.
I found this out from the IMDb trivia or maybe the Wikipedia page, one or the other. Most of the fucking sheep were CG.
No way.
Isn't that crazy? I was like screaming. I was like, this looks
Sheep
so
feels like
good.
something so easy to like be real too, right? Like,
Yeah,
that feels like
no,
a
no,
yeah, there's
animals.
some sheep up there.
They say
Yeah,
never
get a couple
work.
hundred sheep. What are they gonna do?
They always say never.
Just throw them in a fucking pen.
Never work with. Well, there's no pens. It's on a fucking mountain. Like
I know, it's up on a mountain. Yeah. But like you can sort of like have like some like green screen sort of like pen them in there. No, all right, my bad.
You'd rather have a green screen for the pen instead of just having computer generated sheep. Anyway,
yeah, because then you'd have real sheep, and then you'd have to like have the pen sort of like go into the background. It'd just be a fence.
I don't think it's like they created new sheep. I think they like copy pasted the sheep, like they did like they multiple.
Oh,
you know.
okay. There was like a couple of sheep, and
yeah. But it's kind of crazy.
They zip-zapped around a bunch of them.
Because it looks so good. Yeah. Like this movie, the other I think most analogous movie a movie that just. You want to talk about a movie in concert with this movie is Power of the Dog.
You want to talk about a movie? Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I talked about this movie with one of my friends. My friend Justin.
Shout out Justin.
I was like, it's about gay cowboys. And he was like, Rick, they're cowboys. They're all gay.
Yeah, true.
All right, my bad.
True.
And we were like talking about what type of movie this was. I was like, it's a part of like our pride picks because it's right. A gay movie. Just was like, it's a Western. They're cowboys.
They're all gay. Yeah, true.
But yeah, I don't know. That was really funny to me. But then I was like, dude, like, I really feel like you'd like Power of the Dog, and I just want to get your take on it, on whether it's like just a straight up Western, like what type of movie is it to you?
Yeah.
Because I feel like he would watch that and be like, yeah, this just a Western. Like, there's nothing like. Nothing really more to it, It's just
you think so?
A bunch of cowhands out there doing what cowhands do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting because obviously,
I thought of that movie a lot watching this. So.
That movie takes place earlier than this one does. Like this movie takes place like when gay rights were just about like bubbling to the surface, of the scene, and so like the idea of when you think of Westerns, the whole predominant idea of a Western is like the frontier. You've got like. There's something going on, either that's manifest destiny or like the idea of the romantic frontier, or in more revisionist Westerns like this one in Power of the Dog, where it's like, the frontier might not be the way. We might not love the frontier. Like maybe this frontier thing's not all it's cracked up to be. Maybe this is bad.
Maybe it's only good for, meeting up with other lonely cowhand fellas, We've got tough palms and need some help.
Need some helping hands. Yeah.
Getting to bed at night. Yeah.
But so yes, like Power of the Dog, it is beautiful. Although Power of the Dog is like scary. Like the way it looks is frightening.
Yeah.
Whereas this makes Brokeback Mountain. I want to move to fucking Brokeback Mountain. That shit looks
gorgeous.
so beautiful.
Oh, my ashes scattered.
It looks so. I mean, true. Yeah. It looks so idyllic. Like it looks like it should. Like I'm pretty sure they shot on location somewhere. It shouldn't look that good. Nowhere on Earth should look as nice as it does up there.
We joked earlier. We riffed in the Lost recording about how if one of us dies.
Our best episode will be
the other one would record a final episode, and then everyone would watch them posthumously.
Yeah.
If that occurs to me, spread my ashes on Brokeback.
Okay, I will.
Get me up there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not real.
Take Lionel's ashes with me too. Fuck, there's no Brokeback.
It's not a real place. I'm sorry. I mean, I think they shot this on a real mountain.
Fuck!
But yeah. Maybe every time we say Brokeback
Mountain,
Mountain,
spread their ashes up there.
I'm gonna cut in Jake Gyllenhaal. Go Brokeback Mountain. I'm gonna do it.
Brokeback Mountain.
It's so funny.
We could have had a ranch.
Yeah.
Down in Texas.
But
now all we got is Brokeback Mountain.
It's funny to think about, but like, it is a sad fucking scene when they're arguing up there, and it's like
it is. It's tragic.
I feel like he needs the mustache to be a good actor in this. Like, there's something about how earnest he is in the beginning that, like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, Jake Gyllenhaal is like a big actor. Like he like not like he's like a big deal, but like he goes big. Like he makes choices. Like he likes to yell and be crazy. And so when he doesn't have as much like emotional crazy stuff to do, and he's just kind of like a puppy being like, well, this is the most you've talked, and I have my harmonica. Like, it's fine. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it does make his character just so flat compared to Heath Ledger, who is giving like the best performance of the last 30 years on screen. He's so good in this.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe only rivaled by him as the Joker. Like, I don't know, but
Yeah, well, cause like he's a man tortured like not just by his like past, but by his current self,
yeah,
and it's a very special like flavor of self hatred, which I mean new to me
yeah,
at least, right? And like new to, I mean we talked about Boys in the Band and how like that's a very particular brand of self
yeah,
hatred, but like this one is just like something like which was like sort of like beaten into him like PTSD wise
yeah,
essentially, right? Like from like watching someone a
yeah.
gay man be killed.
But it's not even
Essentially.
shame that he feels. It's like it's as if he doesn't even think
Well,
of
it's
it.
paranoia. He's like
Yeah.
paranoid about it. You
Yeah,
know,
it's like
he's
this
like,
isn't even an option. Like it's not that I feel like it's wrong. It's
yeah,
just like
yeah,
the
yeah.
the consequences would be so dire that I can't even indulge the idea. And then he meets,
Yeah.
Jack, and it's like, he when he punches the concrete at the end, like when they get down off the mountain, they go their separate ways, and they try to like play it cool with each other.
Oh, oh, yeah. He's crying, screaming, throwing up.
Yeah,
Like
literally
literally.
those scenes.
Like yeah.
Yeah, he really
I,
is.
I,
That's where that came from. It must have.
I'll be honest with you. It must have. It must have. That was like really emotional.
Yeah,
But like that, a little funny. Just like the way,
yeah,
not the. From a meta point of view, like not like in the moment it was funny, but looking back at it, I'm like, dude was literally like cracking, screaming, throwing
he
up.
was down so bad. He was the most down. He was on his knees,
The,
yeah,
the yell that he gives to
yeah,
at the other guy,
yeah.
like
When he's like, "What are
I
you
was like,
fucking looking
dude.
at?" Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I mean, I know I'm laughing about it now, but like that was like tough. That was like actually tough to watch. I was like, oh, bro,
yeah,
like feels bad, man.
yeah. Yeah. No, well,
Yeah,
like I
I
said,
mean,
he punches the wall, and I'm like, he broke his, like, he must have fucking broken
yeah,
his fingers, like, doing that. Like, I don't,
yeah.
he actually, now that I say that, and you mentioned the yell, this movie came out, what, a year before The Dark Knight? When he plays the Joker? He kind of does the Joker voice when he yells. Like, when the Joker yells, you know how he's
A
like,
little bit, yeah.
I feel like it's the same. Because in this movie, he's so Pennsylvania mushmouth. Like, obviously, he's doing a southern accent, but he has, like, the worst. He sounds like he has chew in his lip actively the whole movie. Like, he's, like, trying not to spit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then when he does have outbursts.
There's a reason why it's called Pennsyltucky, right?
Pennsyltucky,
Like,
yeah. No, I know. Yeah, true.
yeah,
Yeah. But it's great. I mean, he has just an incredible performance. I mean, he doesn't ever
yeah.
become
Oh, it's amazing.
tortured. Like it's never.
Yeah,
It's so real the way that he just like takes it. He just like at one point he says, "If you can't fix it, you got to stand it."
yeah,
And
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's so hard. Like
He never. It's an elevated performance, but the character himself, Ellis, is never elevated above
Ennis.
like this.
But yes.
This Ennis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said Ennis.
You said Ellis.
Ellis?
You said elevated Ellis. It's okay.
Oh my god. Alright. But like it's never brought above this state of like not understanding, right? It's
Yeah.
like the boiling frog experiment,
Mhm.
but the frog never gets that it's boiling, right? It
Yeah.
never understands.
It's never
just
getting to
goes,
that
well,
point. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, well, I guess it's just gonna keep getting hotter, and then you
Yeah.
turn the, at the end, right? You turn the heat off, and
Yeah.
he's broken, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does he do?
Yeah.
You know?
It's so, yeah, it's crazy. That's a really good point. He breaks basically like 3 times. In the beginning when he punches the wall and he's screaming, he's screaming, but he's also screaming.
He was screaming the
Yes.
previous night, right? Or the last week,
When he blows up at Michelle Williams, over Thanksgiving, and he's like, "I'm going to put you on the
Yep.
floor, or make you eat the floor." Like, I was like, whoa. And then at the end, when they have their big confrontation on the mountain still, is when he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, you've done this to me. He says something like that, and he like falls to his knees. Like, he has these like 3 moments over what we assume is like 20 or 15 or 20 years of like huge emotional outbursts, and they all play as anger, and they're just so sad because like yeah, he just takes it. He just, he never like gets angry in any other moment. He just like kind of rolls with it and like is so beaten down. It's fucking tough. And Heath Ledger does a great job.
But it also like that like beaten dog sort of attitude allows for no other emotions to be
Yeah,
played.
100%. He can't. Yeah.
It's yeah, like the very bare minimum. Like the only times that we see other emotions are when he's with Jack Twist, and
Yeah.
he gets to feel happiness, or when he has to deny him right
Mhm.
near the end,
Yeah.
because he's with his family, he's with his kids, and
So
he has to
sad.
like you feel how that's his time getting taken away from him,
Mhm.
and then he goes, yeah, and I gotta go up, I've got my job, because he's still beholden
Yeah,
to
to
his
paying for the
ranching
kids and
ways, right?
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
the only way that he knows,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, well, like, but I'll get through how I get through, right?
Yeah.
But, and
He's like, you've
man, it's
forgotten
so
how
tough.
how it is to be broke. He says that to him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It is such a like specific mentality, and like I can understand that, right? I can totally get behind the like, well, like it's shitty right now, but the only way really is through. So you
Yeah.
just gotta grin and bear it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. The just the that repressed, like, I have to just get through it it sounds so boring to watch. Like, it sounds like not a very interesting character, like one that's just like dejected.
Yeah.
Those people in real life are kind of fucking annoying. But then like,
Yeah, that's true.
but then like
But
Heath Ledger brings like such a like an interiority and like a likability to it. Everyone's fucking swooning for him constantly, and like it's not just because he looks like Heath Ledger. So
yeah. So you say people in real life are kind of fucking boring. I feel like if you took like just the moments, right, like just those emotional outbursts, like,
yeah,
just the time where their wife like goes to work just to get away from them,
Yeah.
right, and like supper's left on the stove, right, like
Mhm.
like if you take those and you get to see the times where like they finally do get angry, right,
Yeah.
where they finally do show that they care about fucking anything,
Yeah.
right, for once, like, and it shows you a lot about the person, right?
Yeah, totally how they react in the
but
moment.
it's so
Yeah.
few and far between,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure, like, if you like knew Ennis in real life,
Yeah.
like
You'd
he'd seem
hate
like the
him.
most like
Yeah.
boring, beaten dog you've
Yeah.
ever met, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh god,
Yeah.
like why would I want to like know such a sorry son of a bitch, right? It's like,
Well, and
know,
that's why
but-
it's so sad, is because like this is the hand he's been dealt, and like he probably would have gotten by and not been so sad if he had never met Jack. Like he would, he would have like been unfulfilled, but
yeah.
never really understood necessarily.
Why?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is crazy to think about. Or maybe he wouldn't have been unfulfilled. Like, there's a like. I don't want to get into like, are these characters bi or gay? Like, I think that is such an unimportant fucking conversation. But like,
Yeah.
who knows, right? But the fact of the matter is that they did meet, and now this guy is, like you said, just completely broken because he knows what he can't have. Just fucking
Yeah.
so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of it's by his own design, right?
Yeah,
Where it's
he
like,
pushed these people
it's a
away,
rule that he
right?
set for himself that
Yeah.
he can't have.
Yeah. It's sad. I had only really known Heath Ledger from like 2 movies, including The Dark Knight. And so every time people were like, oh, this was like, because obviously his passing very young was like shocking to people. He won the Oscar posthumously. Like, so like the fact that like he had such a high acclaim as an actor and like people treated it as such a loss, I was like, I don't know. Like, I mean, he was obviously incredible as the Joker, but like, but now I fucking get it.
Yeah,
I understand.
Could his
like
the other films in his what filmography or his,
I've
body
seen
of work really be so great?
I've seen A Knight's Tale is the only other movie of his, which is like kind of like a funny like Renaissance era or like knights and medieval peasants kind of a thing, like comedy, like whatever, which is fine. It was like fine. But I haven't seen any of his other movies. But yeah, so like I get it. I've drank the Kool-Aid now. I understand.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The ending of this movie. So like
like the last 15 minutes, or
I'm not
like
kidding.
after Jack dies, or
Yeah, like after Jack dies, like they have their big fight, and
yeah.
then immediately, basically, we
Mhm.
cut to the postcard getting received as deceased. When they, like, basically from that moment, no, it's not from that moment. It is when he goes to Jack's parents' house. From, like, I had started to cry a little bit on the phone when they were on the phone talking about, like, what happened to Jack. When the mom
Yeah.
puts her hand, because she knows, the parents have so much going on,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and the mom is like just empathetic enough. She puts her hand on his shoulder as like a comfort because the dad's being a cunt, you know? And she
Yeah.
puts her hand on his shoulder, and it's just this like beautiful shot of him from behind looking at the table, and her hand comes into frame and just rests on his shoulder, and she says something like, I left his room, or like, you could go visit his room if you want. I just sobbed for the rest of the movie. Like, I was like inconsolable for like the rest of the runtime, and then like a half hour or an hour afterward, I was like crying. I was so devastated by that. That like moment was what broke me. Like when you're crying and like, or something is like, you're holding it together because you're upset, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, the
something
dam
little
breaks.
happens
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
dam breaks. Yeah. That fucking got me so fucking bad. It was so bad.
Mine was the scene like right after that where he finds the jacket, the blue parka,
Oh my
and he brings it
god.
downstairs folded
Yeah,
up.
the
When
shirt.
when
And
she
she
hands him
bags
the
it up.
bag, as as they're like putting it in the bag together, and it's such a beautiful moment too, right? Because it's like she's like, oh, like this is someone who like saw my boy for who he was,
And loved
and
him.
who like
Yeah.
like obviously loved him, and
Yeah.
and like my boy loved him, and it's like, but like they never knew each other, and they never knew each other within like the context of like their
Yeah.
shared relationship.
Yeah.
And so for them to be able to share in that like singular moment of like not the passing of the torch even, but that like
Right. Yeah.
the like, hey, like this is for you to remember him by.
Since you can't have his
And even like
ashes. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
right, I think it's before the dad says that, but like
Yeah.
she obviously knows that like
He's not gonna.
he's
Yeah.
not gonna give them
Yeah.
away, right? So like she's like, hey, like I know you need something, like have this sort of help.
Yeah.
And immediately before it too, like he's sort of like hugging it and like crying, and like it's so
Oh,
sad because like the like top of the hanger, like the cold like metal's just like pressing against his flesh as he's just like
holding
trying to
it.
pull the
Yeah.
parka
And like
closer to himself.
smell it. He wants to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's trying to get the smell in
Yeah.
there. So fucking sad,
Yep.
bro. Oh my god. And like,
And then the next time it's just like it's just folded up, and it's I mean it's him.
well,
It's supposed to be Jack, right?
and it's reversed.
That's what he has of him. Yeah.
Like the when I think it's when he finds it, Jack's shirt is on the outside and Ennis's is tucked in. But then when you see it the second time later on, it's the reverse, and Ennis's shirt is on the outside and Jack's is inside his shirt. And it's like, it's so sad. Like that's, like there's no fucking words for how sad and like touching it is. That like now
Yeah.
he couldn't say it in life or like to him when he's alive, but like now he's like out about it. He's like willing to be like the one on the, like the representative one. Like his shirt is, I don't know. It's just like, man. And the last line where he says like, Jack, I swear, oh my God. Just fucking kill me. I'm gonna kill myself right now. This is so sad.
No, wait, no.
No, it's not our
there's
mic.
Mario Kart to play.
Yeah.
No. Think of how bad the episode's ratings will be. No.
No, it's crazy. But the little mercy, the little bit of compassion of the mom to him, just like that, just so fucking got me. And like, obviously the idea of like visiting your lover's childhood home is sad in like if they're not there. Like there's just like a tenderness and an emotionality to that, or emotion to that. But with them, if they've been like cut short, it's just so sad to see like this is all that's left. This is where they were.
Yeah.
This is what's, this is like the sad, innocent, state that they were in. It's, oh my God, so fucking sad.
And speaking of the dad being a dickhead, bringing
Yeah,
up the other
fuck that guy.
right?
Get him out of
Yeah,
yeah, he's like rubbing it in his
fuck
face.
that dad. That's,
Get that guy off the screen.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, I remember Ananas. Yeah, I remember he used to talk about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started mentioning someone else 6 months ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Funny how that works out, isn't it?
Yeah, he's such an ass. Yeah, he's like anything else Jack planned, it never came to pass. Fuck that guy.
Oh my god. And especially right after his wife's comments to like the same accord.
Yeah.
Feels so bad.
Yeah. Jail.
Dude, Arch, you gotta stop, buddy. Sorry, I don't know how much that's gonna pick up on the mic.
That's
it doesn't
okay.
look like much. Anyway.
That's fine. I have a little tool called mute that I use. So little trick for you. But yeah, that I know I've harped on it, but like I'm trying to find there's another movie that I watched semi-recently that had like a little moment of tenderness in it, and I'm trying to find what it was that like really got me.
Oh, you remember in theater camp when the guy who was Airbnb donated enough to save the camp?
I can't remember what it was. That just really gutted me. Like the idea of like the mom being able to be just like show this small moment of kindness that means so much to him, even though she's her own person. Like I'm sure she has like tons of regrets, like, now that her son is dead, like, that how that changes things. The whole thing's so crazy. Anyway, I was devastated. I cannot emphasize enough how fucking sad and crying I was. Christopher, confirmed heterosexual, did not fucking cry. I was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, you're wrong. That's fucked up. Yeah. No, I looked over, I'm like blubbering, and he kept looking at me like, are you okay? No, I wasn't. But I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you?
I know I'm like an emotional guy, but not crying at all at the end of the movie is kind of...
Christopher cries at movies all the time, so the fact that he didn't at this one, maybe he was so shocked by me like how much I was crying, that he was like, well, I need to make sure Lane's okay. Like, I need to lock in.
I've got to keep it together.
Yeah.
I have to be the emotionally stable one currently. Yeah.
Chris cries at all kinds of movies. He's a weepy for sure. But yeah, this one just...
Yeah, because I've cried at a lot of movies, even ones I probably shouldn't, but like, I don't know.
No.
Sometimes like...
You're valid.
They just hit like certain like a little 1-2 punch, and I'm like, all right, well, there it goes. My bad.
Yeah,
like, I'm done.
Trying to see. I'm looking at my with tofu tag on Letterboxd to identify the movies he's cried to.
You're like, oh, The Killer.
I feel like he teared up at something very recently. Oh, Sinners, which we both teared up at certain points. But he cried at the end of Sinners, the vampire movie.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I have heard good stuff about it.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good movie. I don't remember what else. Nickel Boys, maybe? Anyway, yeah. So he's no stranger to crying, but yeah, I was like, during Pride Month, I could cry at Brokeback Mountain. At Brokeback? Come on.
Brokeback?
At Brokeback?
That's all we have. Brokeback.
It's Brokeback Mountain! You have to really, like...
It's Brokeback Mountain!
That's... Which...
You say it like you're a bulldog, like barking like...
You have to! That's how Jake Gyllenhaal... He is, like, doing method acting as, like, on all fours as a bulldog. Well, they're both doing little voices, which is one of my favorite things that an actor or actress can do, is a little voice. And so... you have to really get into it like that, which that does remind me, speaking of Christopher, I did ask him since our last show, I was like, could you do an impression of me? And he was like, no, but I feel like if I could, I would do an impression of you doing an impression of someone else. Because he said that all of the things that I say frequently are like impressions of other people.
Impressions. Yeah. Oh, wait. I know the impression for you.
Yeah. Hit me.
They expect one of us in the wreckage, brother.
It's not simple he used,
the
I'm pretty
fire
sure.
rises.
He used a different example from a different Christopher Nolan movie, because apparently all I make fun of are Chris Nolan movies. Holy shit, who's this? Is this Milo?
Kind of true. Oh, no, this is Kita.
Oh, that's Kita.
She's being silly and she's spinning around on me, though. so I'm trying to calm her down.
I do Nosferatu a lot too. But like that's the thing, you can like what do I sound?
So I can't do the Nosferatu voice.
I know
that's
you
the problem.
can't. We need to watch that movie. That movie's so good.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch that as my pick-me-up. My happy-go-lucky anti-Brokeback Mountain.
Nosferatu.
I had a couple other things. The score for this is like almost cliche because I feel like I've heard people use this score or like heard this score used maybe elsewhere, but it still works.
Mhm.
Like the guitar, like
Yeah, it's nice.
it's good.
Yeah.
It is nice. It's very sweet. Like if this movie wasn't so fucking sad, it would be like maybe it should just end like 40 minutes early. Like if you just turn it off, like
It's like nothing ever happened.
yeah, it's fine. Actually you end the movie 40 minutes in, like after they first start making out. Like then we're good. So Chris said a certain actor in this looked like Jesse Plemons, and I thought that Heath Ledger kind of looked like Plemons and Joseph Gordon-Levitt mixed together in this. So I wanted to know your take. Chris said that the grocery store guy that like Michelle Williams ends up marrying looks. I know. I was like, I think you're smoking crack on that one actually, but
Maybe the first time that we see him, like, kind of a little bit.
yeah.
But like,
I disagree. Yeah, I
when they're at
disagreed.
the like Thanksgiving scene.
No, not at
that's
all.
just- it's so radically different. Yeah, it's
Thank
not
you.
even close. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I don't know if I'm misremembering how he looks in the grocery store the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Chris was on drugs for thinking that too. So
Yeah, I don't know. As much as, well, is this a Pride Plemons?
no.
Plemuary? Or-
Plemuary.
No.
We're notably not in a month that has the auary sound. We are remarkably in the stretch of months that don't have that sound in them.
Balloon. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say that.
Well, no, but we're
That's not a
doing
word I
we're
wanna be
doing.
throwing out there.
That's the whole thing.
Oh, you're right. Fuck. I'm like,
Yeah.
shh. My bad.
That's all right.
Shh.
That's all right. I'll bleep that. I'll bleep that. These people definitely
Yeah.
can't just look at the list of movies that we'll be watching and notice that they all have Jesse Plemons in them.
They
little
won't.
Easter
they
egg.
Won't. Can't believe you wanted to just mention Jesse Plemons though. Gotta throw him out.
I wanted to ask.
every
Okay, literally, we haven't talked about him in like 4 episodes. Fuck you. Anyway,
But no, I did not. I did not.
I should have mentioned him in the
I did
Ituma
not
Matan
parse
Bien
anyone as
episode when I was like, this movie looks like it smells like sucking
You should have
dick.
mentioned it in the theater camp episode. You should have been like, I just wasn't finding anyone that fit the Jesse Plemons vibe there.
Yeah. Guy who's only seen Jesse Plemons movies. Getting not a lot of Jesse Plemons from this movie. The other thing I wanted to talk about, or the last note I really had, literally my notes end with "oh" and then a frowny face. When they're kissing and Michelle Williams sees them, she comes back into the kitchen and there's like a moment where she's reacting and she's making a sandwich with white bread, like white Wonder Bread. And I was like, that's a nice little touch.
Yeah.
That's a cute little production design touch.
What the fuck? What are you talking about?
Me?
Just the fact that it's white Wonder Bread?
Yeah, like white bread, like meaning like all American white bread. You've never heard that term?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And like
all right,
Wonder
all right,
Bread is like a
yes, yeah,
fake
okay.
manufactured, like not real bread. Like it's a
Yeah.
stand-in.
Yeah,
It's like
that's why
vanilla.
the American bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like American cheese.
Same idea. Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I thought that made me chuckle when that happened, but this movie
I
looks
extract
good.
my own vanilla. I don't know about you.
Do you have anything else you want to
Yeah.
say about Brokeback Mountain? If this episode ends up only being like $1.15 because I can't make the first 30 minutes work, I'm gonna be pissed off. I should have had the game ready.
I mean, I think the Mario Kart stuff works.
If it's
in
just me
isolation.
talking about
I
it.
think- yes, and then even you just yelling about theater camp. If you want to send me your audio, I can record the first half hour.
That would be
and
so
if you
funny.
want to do
Maybe
that.
I'll do that. We'll see.
Yeah,
Do
okay.
you have anything else to say about Brokeback Mountain?
No, I loved it. This was great. This is like not just a like easy rewatch. This is like a definite rewatch, like in the future.
100%.
Movie.
Yeah, incredible
awesome.
movie. Yeah, yeah, really, just like even blew my expectations out of the water. Better than even its reputation, I think. So cool. Yeah. Well, we got one more week.
Wow. What are the movies for next week, Lane?
One of them is a Rick's pick, and the other one is a Lane's frame. So 2 Pride picks here. The first one is The Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant from 1972, directed by Rainer Werner Fassbinder. Say that 5 times fast.
Amazingly, that's not the Rick's pick.
That is not the Rick's pick. Rick's pick was Love Lies Bleeding from 2024, directed by Rose Glass, which I'm really excited to watch again for the 3rd time. So, since 2024.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I have not seen this other movie. Fassbinder is a director that I have not dabbled into, but is one of those like big totemic, like art house, well-known, like film school directors. And he made...
Is he Polish?
He was German, I believe. He is deceased. So this is an older movie. This is from the 70s.
Rest in peace. Okay, yeah.
I believe he was bisexual, but I know this movie does have like kind of either bi or women loving women themes. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I figured this would be a good entry point to that director and a good way to round out Pride Month. So hell
sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
And Love Lies Bleeding, I think this will be an interesting movie for us to talk about. This might be another slight movie. We might focus more on Petra von Kant. We'll see. But
okay.
I love that movie. Like that's a favorite of mine. So that was like my 2nd favorite movie of last year, I want to say. Maybe 3rd. So we shall see.
All right. Well. All right. I'm excited to watch.
Cool.
And
yeah. Do you have a favorite Mario Kart track? Like a favorite, like, race track?
Ooh.
Don't say Moo Moo Meadows.
Almost exclusively.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I mean, that's too cliched. I played almost exclusively on Mario Kart Wii.
Coconut Mall, maybe?
I think Coconut Mall was great. Coconut Mall's up there. Mushroom Gorge, I think is up there. That's one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
But I think Wario's Mine might be
the Gold Mine.
my top spot.
That's a good one. That one's fun.
Yeah, Wario's Gold Mine.
With the bats in the cave.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And the shortcut up to the left is like my favorite, right by the finish line.
That's peak. That is peak.
There's a lot of really good shortcuts there.
Yeah.
And I just love like riding right behind a cart, like a
getting the boost
cart or whatever, and like grabbing shit.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. I'm trying to think of how the Wario's Mine, how that song goes. Hang on, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna see if I was gonna end with that track's music. Let's see.
I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. The snow ones are like always kind of annoyed me, but like they're ones that like if you get into a groove on, you just start like flying, right? Like it feels really satisfying too. I feel like that's a lot of Mario Kart. Should I end the episode, by the way? Are we still recording?
No, I'm still recording. Yeah, because I.
Oh, okay.
Okay. First, you're recording breaks. Now you want to end early. You're just like fuck Lane.
No, I was just wondering. I don't know. We were talking about like what we wanted to close the ep with, and I was like, oh, like are we done? Are you?
Oh yeah, because it's this one. Can you
to
hear
the
this?
end now? Yeah.
That is a good song.
That's a banger. Bro.
That is a banger.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay, yeah, we'll end with that. That's definitely, it's even a little Western. It kind of fits with Brokeback. Definitely on theme.
It fits, yeah.
All right.
Wario's Western Gold Mine.
Wario Mountain? Broke Warrior.
Yeah.
Broke Warrior. Wario. Hash slinging.
Go broke, go woke. Go woke, go broke mountain. Woke whack wouten.
Oh, you sweet. If you don't end your fucking recording.
What do you mean? I thought I was gonna end it too early. Alright, I'm gonna get there. Oh wait, that's not my mouse.